want to give you some nuggets here. This is important, so you want to write this down. I want you to lean in here and remember this. You're never too accomplished to doubt yourself. I'll say it again. You're never too accomplished to doubt yourself. Once I was able to fix the doubt, my whole life opened up and I became a wealth creating machine. It was the weirdest, wonderful feeling I ever had. I started implementing the steps to mastering my relationship with money, and everything changed. I want to show you a little picture of what that looked like. This is my technical side. Please be patient. There I am. All right. Everybody take a good look. I got to stop sharing. That's my favorite bike picture. And I didn't realize my husband had taken so many of those. So awesome. So if you thought I was a laid back goody good year, this ought to convince you otherwise. I have the ability to create anything in my life. And I'll give you a good example. I always laugh at this story because it just makes me laugh so much. So I started dating my husband and we're going out. So on our first date, we're talking, and normally he was also a martial artist. So we would see each other and we'd always be in our uniform. So we never really saw each other in normal clothes. So we go out on like this first date. Of course, you want to look your best. So I'm like in a skirt and top. I look pretty good. And we're sitting there and we're talking. And all of a sudden he says, well, I don't want to get married. And I'm like, and he's been married twice before. And I look at him and in my head, I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to get married either. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, come on, ladies. What will you say to a guy on the first date who says, I don't want to get married? You're out of there, right? Like holy mackerel, or at least consider texting that friend who can call you and say, oh, there's a big emergency. You've got to leave right away so you can fake it till you get out of there. But I ended up staying, and it was probably the best decision I ever made. No, actually, it was the best decision I ever made. Let's face it. So we date for a while and we move in together. And after about 8 months, I come to this decision. I say, look, if we're going to stay together, you've got 5 years to decide. If not, I'm happy to go my own way. We don't need to be together. So we had this agreement. He waits 4 years and 9 months to the day to ask me to marry him. I mean, I got to give him kudos. He made it just under the wire. So I say yes. Now, let me set the stage here for you. I always have wanted the dream wedding since I was 5 or 6 years old. A huge wedding, lots of people, a giant cake with cake toppers who look like bad claymation cartoons, including a 1,000-pound ice sculpture of my motorcycle that had a vodka luge drilled through it. I mean, I think we could have all auditioned for the Winter Olympics after a few of those shots. It was the whole deal. I also wanted my dream honeymoon in Bora Bora in one of those huts over the water. Also an elite cruise to go along with this, all this stuff. Well, there's a price for these wonderful things, and it was about $120K. That's Canadian. So I started thinking about this. I'm like, all right, I need to generate $120K. How am I going to do this? What's possible here? So I start doing my affirmations and all those things to bring in money and create wealth mastery at a very high level. Because remember, I'm this wealth creating machine, right? Like I know what it means to be a high achiever. And sure enough, I get this call the next week from someone I had done contract work with. I'd worked with them before a few times, and she says to me, Laura, we really need you. We need you to come into our office, and we're building our business. We need you to come in. We need you to manage it. We need you to hire the right people and get everything in place. As an entrepreneur, I didn't really want to work full-time there, but I wanted a contract that would allow me to be there a year or so and then leave. So she tells me what they want to pay, and I say, well, this is what I need. And I told them what the price would be for a year. And guess what it was? Yes, that's right. It was $120K. So I worked there for a year. I put everybody in place and they were very happy when I left. Unfortunately, things fell apart afterwards because they didn't know how to manage it. And I probably could have stayed another year, but I had a wedding and a honeymoon to attend. I ended up paying in full for my wedding and my honeymoon, and there was absolutely zero debt. This was the moment when I fully realized my power to generate money so easily. It took me all those years and struggles and pain to come to the realization that I could create anything in my life, including a 1,500-pound or 1,000-pound ice sculpture of my motorcycle with a vodka luge and an oyster bar at my wedding.